Hello everybody, welcome back to another reading. Today we're taking a look at the case of Kyron Horman, who disappeared after a science fair at his school at age 7 on June 4th of 2010. Now, he was taken to Skyline Elementary School by his stepmother Terry, who said that she had actually seen him leaving the science fair and heading to his first class, and that she left the school around 8:45. On Wikipedia, it goes on to say that Terry's statements to the police indicate that after leaving the school at 8:45, she ran errands at two different Fred Meyer grocery stores at around 10 a.m. Between then and 11:39, she stated that she was driving her daughter around town in an attempt to use the motion of the vehicle to soothe the toddler's earache. Terry said that she then went to a local gym and exercised till about 12:40 p.m. By 1:21 p.m., she had arrived home and posted photos of Kyron at the science fair on Facebook. At 3:30 p.m., Terry and her husband Kane walked with their daughter Kiara to the bus stop to meet Kyron. The bus driver told them that the boy had not boarded the bus and to call the school to ask his whereabouts. Terry did so, only to be informed by the school secretary that, as far as anyone there knew, Kyron had not been at school since early that day, and that he had accordingly been marked absent. Realizing then that the boy was missing, the secretary called 911. That's interesting. All right. Anyway, so Kyron has not been seen since that day, and a lot of people suspect the stepmom. She has been seen to be doing some strange things, like they found that she had been Googling different routes to and from her house and the school that day, and she's been accused of paying somebody to take care of her husband, which Wikipedia makes the following statement about. In late June 2010, in the midst of the search, Kane was reportedly told by investigators that Terry had offered their landscaper Rodolfo Sanchez a lot of money, quote-unquote, to kill her husband. Sanchez testified in a deposition that Terry approached him to help kill her husband in January 2010, 5 months before Kyron's disappearance. In her own deposition, Terry denied the charge. Investigators convinced Sanchez to confront Terry while wearing an audio surveillance device, but they were unable to obtain any evidence and could not make an arrest. On June 28th, Kane filed for divorce and obtained a restraining order against Terry. The divorce was granted, and Terry was eventually granted supervised visitation with their daughter. During this time, Terry filled two separate polygraph examinations regarding Kyron's disappearance. In August 2010, it was announced that law enforcement was searching for an individual allegedly seen by two witnesses sitting inside Terry's truck outside Skyline Elementary the day of the disappearance. Bruce McCain, a former sheriff of the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office, told CBS News the identity of that second person, if he or she existed, could be critical in determining what happened to Kyron after 9 a.m. on June 4th. Alright, but we're not there yet. Meanwhile, in July 2010, a Multnomah County grand jury subpoenaed several friends of Terry, including Dee Dee Spiker, I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that correctly, whom Young, the mother, and Kane described as having been in close communication with Terry and providing Terry with support and advice that is not in the best interest of her son, according to them. According to law enforcement, Spiker was extremely cooperative, quote-unquote, and allowed a search of her property and car, as well as enduring 3 hours of questioning from detectives. On the day of Kyron's disappearance, Spiker abruptly left her work gardening for a homeowner on German Road in northwest Portland around 11:30 a.m., and returned around 90 minutes later. She also allegedly helped Terry purchase an untraceable cell phone. During this time, Spiker told journalists, "There's this horror that my friend is going through. If I thought for a second that she was capable of foul play, I would not have been there. She would not have been my friend in the first place." Okay, so there's several people here who are suspicious. In any case, we don't know what happened to Kyron really. We have a lot of suspicions, as you just saw, and no real facts, at least not when it concerns Kyron and his whereabouts and what happened to him. So I was asked to do a reading on that, and we're going to do that today, starting with the Creatures of the Magical Forest Tarot, which is this one. And for the further questions, moving on to the Urban Tarot, which is this one with the more modern images. As per usual, I'm just going to start shuffling the deck. As soon as I have about a screen full of cards, we're going to stop and take a look. So without much further ado, let's get started. Okay, we have, starting on the top left, the 8 of Swords, the 10 of Wands in reverse, and the 6 of Cups in reverse. And the Emperor in reverse as well. I'm going to grab that one with these first cards because I feel like they are connected. What I saw in particular when these first two cards popped up was somebody stuck in a certain mindset that they were going to lose some type of resource that they expected to be theirs. So somebody over here is feeling like there is going to be a loss guaranteed unless they do something about it. And the 8 of Swords in this case is basically pointing towards that mindset being something that they could have abandoned if they had taken off the blindfold and just stepped out of the forest of swords, so to speak. But it's something that they're willfully keeping themselves trapped in. So this is a thought that is persistent, could have been shaken, but they didn't want to, and very much focused on losing resources. The 6 of Cups here in reverse is pointing towards negative connections from the past, possibly maybe something that they've suffered in the past that actually kept this thought pattern alive. Like they may have experienced something in the past that kept them thinking that they were going to lose something unless they did something. And the reason why I'm grabbing the Emperor over here as well in the first cards, because normally I pick the first 3, but this time I'm picking the first 4, is that I feel like the Emperor here is pointing towards somebody who is supposed to be a guardian, is supposed to be a fatherly influence, looking away. And this kind of points towards, of course we don't want to point fingers, but it kind of looks like something was able to happen to Kyron because other people looked the other way, or perhaps were busy with other things. Because the next card we see here is the 5 of Cups, which is focusing on things that you lost, even though there are other things that you could still reclaim. So I feel like there is a situation created here where there is a gap in parental supervision or some type of supervision from above that may have prevented something like this to happen because they are focused on their own thing, while the person who is the perpetrator is also very much focusing on their own thing, something that they feel like they would have lost otherwise. And it's like a mental issue that they have, like persistent thoughts that is not really based on reality, but because there was no supervision, they were able to carry out their deeds. And next card, like I said, is the 5 of Cups upright. Then we have a Strength in reverse. Now this one's way on the end, but that one's going to be there on the second row. So we're moving on to this row over here. Now the one's upright. Okay, so like I said, the Emperor is focusing on things that they are unable to do anything about, like the cups over there that are fallen over and they don't have that resource anymore, or those feelings have been spilled, and they're kind of like focusing on themselves. They don't really have the strength to do anything else here because the strength is in reverse. And the next card we see here is the Knight of Wands, which is a knight that is fairly gung-ho, probably is doing things by the seat of their pants, just kind of flying with whatever information they have at the point or at that time. At that point in time, we have Justice upright, so probably feeling like they are doing the right thing. But there is the 10 of Swords. This seems like I heard that the stepmother had tried to arrange something. This is all allegedly because I don't believe they actually have any proof other than somebody who said that she had talked to them about possibly getting the husband out of the picture. So this kind of feels like the whole process of getting the restraining order in place that happened about 5 months or so before Kyron disappeared. So it kind of feels like they're focusing on one thing while something else is happening in the background, that type of thing. Like they're focused on things that are pretty important as well, that definitely cause a lot of distrust and wariness because of the Strength in reverse over here, and Justice is being brought in as well, and they really feel like things are really bad for them at that point in time. So that's their main focus. And the next card that we see here is the 3 of Swords in reverse, followed by the Knight of Swords in reverse and the Ace of Wands in reverse. All right, so now we have some heartbreak over here. Literally what came to mind was somebody acting very rashly, very quickly with the Knight of Swords in reverse and doing something that is definitely a negative initiative here with the Ace of Wands in reverse, and it's only solely intended to hurt. So I feel like this may be the other person involved in this case, whom this other person, the Emperor over here, is fighting with. Like this seems much, very much like just trying to get somebody where it hurts, right? Without attacking them directly, just really trying to take a stab at their heart quite literally by just doing things very quickly. And then we have here, this is, I believe, the Queen. Yeah, the Queen of Cups in reverse. Okay, so now we're playing the, I almost want to say pity card, but it's kind of like a woe is me at the end of this entire row here, or both these rows really. And I think this represents both people involved. It's not Kyron. I think these are the people around them that were supposed to be taking care of them. On the one hand, pretending that they are so downtrodden and things are going so badly for them. None of that's their own fault. And of course, we have at least the father and the mother side, the actual mother side, who are, of course, wanting to know where their son is, who are desperate to find out more, and are just really, really sad and heartbroken at the end of this here row. So far it's starting to look a little bit like look the other way and they're gone, that type of thing, because your focus was somewhere else, which is of course not a blame thing, because it does show that they were definitely focused on something real that was taking their attention, their time and their strength away. But it was the opening that was needed by whomever did whatever they did to Kyron to slip in there. Now let's see if we can find out anything else, because I think this is the just before and just after Kyron disappears. Now let's see if we can find out anything about the disappearance and whether we're going to see anything of Kyron anymore, because I don't believe that he's been found yet. There's been all sorts of clues and evidence to point towards certain people, and I'm pretty sure if you're familiar with the case, you'll know who we're talking about here, whom they are pointing at. But so far we haven't found Kyron, so we would like to know if we ever will, and what the surrounding circumstances were. This is a smaller stack. These two, okay. So this one first, as you guys get put back in position. We have the Five of Swords. All right, so we're definitely arguing. We're arguing a lot, possibly internally, although it is upright, which I normally see as an external factor rather than internally. So they are possibly still playing a game. There's a lot of words being said here, probably a lot of arguing happening. The card is called Defeat, and there is a card game going on in the background. So I feel like there's still this game being played. Whomever holds the cards is about to win in this card game, but nobody's really winning ultimately. They're all losing. Kyron, obviously, so it's not quite a win, but the game is still being played, probably because at least one of the players doesn't really care too much about who was lost and really just wants their win, so to speak. Strength is still in reverse, so we're still not able to confront things, possibly not able to accept what may be a truth, just not able to get out of a rut. I feel like this arguing that's constantly going on between the people involved is really sapping their strength, and that makes them unable to really look at anything else. There you go, those two. We've got the Hierophant in reverse and the Sun in reverse. Okay, the Hierophant representing some type of authority in their lives. Could be a church, could be a community guide or leader, something along those lines, or somebody who represents the organization that guides the community. Possibly not wanting to look at the same things either. Also kind of getting caught up in this, I think. Or maybe not being able to look at certain things. Like there's all this thing, like there's a lot of legal stuff, of course, involved in cases like these. You can't just come out and say, I think you did it, or make like confrontations on the street and make accusations directly, that type of thing. Can't do that because you could get countersued. Nobody wants that. But everybody does realize, while the different authorities cannot help them in the way that they would like, that the main issue here, of course, is that the sun has gone down, and the sun is often represented by a small child, which I think clearly in this case also shows that the fact that all this arguing is happening doesn't take away the fact, or will ever fix the fact, that Kyron is missing and probably will not come back. Are we ever going to find him though? Let's see, because we haven't found anything yet. This card is called Futility. It is the Seven of Swords, and it's in reverse. Seven of Swords is normally a deception type of thing. I'm thinking that this is people being led astray continuously, wild geese chases. I mean, the card is called Futility, so I feel like people are saying words, making suggestions, and they know that it's not going to lead to anything, and therefore they just keep doing that because they know that that'll keep them running around and actually not going where they need to go. So there might be a lot of deception from several people here that is continuous and purposefully trying to distract from the actual issue and the actual facts of the matter. The Ten of Cups in reverse, so Harmony is definitely not returning. I think we're going to be stuck in this mindset for quite a long time. The card is called Satiety, I believe that's what it says. So that means that satisfaction is not with us at this point and probably will not be with us for a very long time. So definitely the result or the resolution of this case is going to take a long time if we ever see anything at all. Because we are in this state, and a lot of cases that I do are in this state where there just aren't enough facts. We don't know exactly what happened, so they're stuck in this limbo of just not knowing and needing to know at the same time. So I feel like that is what this card is saying. Are we ever going to find anything? Are we going to find Kyron? Oh, that bunch just kind of leapt onto my sleeve. Let's see what we have here. We have the Six of Swords. Alright, so definitely being carried by science, it says. So maybe we'll see some type of scientific breakthrough that might help. Or because we have the Seven of Cups here, they're wishing or hoping that science will be able to solve something, like they're possibly hoping for some new technology to come into existence or start being used in their case that might lead to some type of clue or more leads and more directions as to where they could possibly find Kyron. And then we have the Seven of Wands, which is normally a coming for position, so they're definitely trying to challenge, hopefully trying to challenge the right people with this science that they're hoping that might come through for them. So this is kind of like somebody accusing, either silently or vocally, of Kyron's disappearance, going, you know what, just wait until they have this or that going and then we'll see, because then we'll have some proof against you, that type of thing. At least they're hoping that they will get that, because it is the Seven of Cups after all. So that doesn't quite show whether we're going to see any physical remains of Kyron or find Kyron alive or not. Let's see if we can get a few cards on that. Maybe from the other deck. Let's switch back to the Magical Forest. Two cards. We have Knight of Pentacles and we have the King of Wands in reverse. Okay, so there's a bit of a mismatch, I feel, because the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who's very methodical, and even though they're very slow, they will eventually produce the results because they will keep at it. They're very stubborn and they're very good at just sticking to their focus, getting to that end goal. But next to that we have the King of Wands, who's in reverse, so that might be somebody who would perhaps act a little too harshly, too rashly, might be jumping the gun here. So I feel like there might be several people working on this case, and on the one hand we have somebody who really wants to take things very slowly, and there's somebody else who wants to just get things done. And I think these two might end up working against each other. These two forces, doesn't have to be two individuals in particular, but just you could have a couple of different departments that are trying to do things at the same time, and maybe not to each other's benefit. So they may slow each other down and speed others up when they want to be slow, to be sure that they got everything right. So I feel like in order for anything to be resolved in this case, we need to always have everybody working at the same speed, using the same methods, and having the same amount of patience, I feel, because otherwise we're not going to see much in the ways of resolution, because they are going to keep getting in each other's way, which is going to slow everything down. One more card then, because this is still the people that are involved. What about Kyron? Okay, we have a whole stack that fell out, but I don't want 10 cards, I just want the one. Yep. Oh, two of them on the floor. Alright, 5 of Swords and 2 of Cups. Okay, so basically this is now saying that until this arguing and working against each other is resolved and people come together to subscribe to the same views and the same methods, like I was saying, we're not going to see much of anything. So this is basically just a continuation of these two over here. So these two forces that are working together are going to have to figure something out and come together in a way that they're all focusing on the same direction, like I said, the same methods, and then we should see some more results. At the very least, that whole force that is working on this case, however many people that might be at the moment, because it has been 10 years, 12 years I think at this point, they need to come together, and then all that force can push for the resolution together and hopefully find something that will at least put this case to rest. So that is what I'm seeing for Kyron Horman. I hope you found that interesting. Make sure to leave a like and a comment. That really helps the channel along. If you'd like to subscribe, that's even more appreciated. I hope to see you in another video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.